The saintly and pious Moses, of course, does not want to have too many enemies, but one enemy, an arch nemesis perhaps in particular, that unfortunately always stands out in our mind is that of a Korach. And in fact, in the book of Numbers, as chapter 16 opens, we read about the machloket, the terrible dispute and rivalry between a Korach and a Moses. And Korach is the one to question why Moses has to be the leader of the Jewish people. Why, in fact, do we need any leader of the Jewish people? Why any sense of a hierarchy? Why can't we all just be the same? And the way that he expresses that claim is with the words, Kol Ha'ida, the entire assembly, Kolam Kedoshim, they are all holy. If they're all holy, what do we need any leaders for? Let's all be the leaders at the same time. We don't need a sense of hierarchy because nobody has to be in charge of a nation where everybody is equally holy. We were all together witnesses of the grand revelation at Sinai. We don't need a Moses to stand out, and we don't need an Aaron the high priest. Those were some of the claims of a Korach. Wherein lay his error? I think if we turn the spotlight and we home in on the choice wording of this antagonist by the name of a Korach, we notice an interesting thing in the choice terminology of Kulam Kedoshim, which is Lashon Hava, which is the present tense. When we write in Hebrew, it's the present tense saying that the Jews are all presently holy. But anyone who's gone through the Torah, we know numerous places bandied about the Torah, we see God giving instruction to the Jewish people. Not Kedoshim, you're presently holy, but rather Kedoshim to you, alluding to the future tense. Vihi tem Kedoshim, you should make yourselves holy, you should become holy. Because God says, never view yourselves as being holy. Your task in life is to never be content, never absorb yourself in a complacent air of superiority, saying, hey, I can sit back, I can relax, I can take it easy. I'm fine, I got to a nice level on the religious ladder, on the ladder of spirituality, and I'm comfortable, I'm just fine where I am. There's no such thing, though, in Judaism as maintenance and status quo. The Vilna Gaon, the great saint, Rav Elijah from Vilna, 1720, 1797, he writes in his commentary in the book of Mishlei, the book of Proverbs 15:24, that there is no such thing in Judaism as staying comfortable on any one level, on any rung of the ladder of spirituality. If you're not constantly striving, if you're not constantly ascending that ladder, then willy-nilly you're going down because of the ubiquitous presence of the evil inclination around you. If you're not going up, then whether you like it or not, in essence, you're really going down. Korach's mistake was that he says to Moses, speaking on behalf of his entire entourage, his entire retinue, that Kulam Kedoshim, we're all currently holy. But where is the mistake? The mistake was, it's not about we're presently holy. We're not content with our current level of holiness, and we never can be. Rather, Kedoshim to you have to strive endlessly to yet greater, more elevated, more lofty heights, always looking to strive and become as great as you can be, as holy as you can be. Korach shares the identical letters as the word for ice, Kerach. Interesting. Interesting phenomenon. Nothing's coincidental. You put things in ice, you put things in a freezer to maintain status quo, to preserve things exactly as they are. Korach was, I don't need a Moses, I don't need an Aaron the high priest. We're comfortable being just who we are. Let's maintain status quo. Korach, your mistake is that God himself writes in the pages of the Torah, it's not about staying who you are. It's about constantly growing, yearning, striving endlessly to get to greater and greater heights. He even once heard somebody point out that the reason why the wife of Lot, if we could rewind very quickly back to the book of Genesis, the wife of Lot, she turns into a pillar of salt when she looks back at the destroyed city of Sodom. And one could ask, why a pillar of salt? Why not a salt shaker? And why salt? Why salt out of everything else in the world? And the answer, of course, is because salt, just like ice, is a preservative. It maintains status quo. Lot's wife says, I want to go back to Sodom. I don't want to join the family of Abraham. I don't want to live in proximity to such a sage. I want to maintain the comfortable level which I'm currently on. That's the mistake. You don't turn back and say, I want to be a part of Sodom. You don't turn back because that's what salt's all about. That's the pillar of salt, not a salt shaker, an immobilized, frozen pillar of salt. A preservative. It's placed into meat to leave the piece of meat exactly as is. Lot's wife, Korach, it's all the same thing. Never be happy with status quo. Always look to keep striving, yearning to greater and greater heights, because there's so much powerful and endless potential out there to be tapped.